So this next story is actually really shocking to me. I was so surprised when I read this headline, and it wasn't something that I was expecting to see at all. First, let me give you a little backstory. So, I'm sure by now you've heard of the tragic murder of George Floyd at the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department. And that murder has sparked a lot of protests across the country and also a lot of riots and looting. So, on one of the first days of protests in Minneapolis, the protesters were surrounding the 3rd precinct in Minneapolis. And at some point or another, the mayor decided that the force was just going to abandon the precinct. Then, since the police force abandoned the precinct, the people protesting and the rioters moved into the precinct and they actually burnt the entire thing down. They set it on fire and torched the place, which was so surprising to see. So take a look at this poll conducted by Monmouth, and Newsweek covers it here. 54% of Americans think burning down Minneapolis police precinct was justified after George Floyd's death. Wow. A majority of Americans, 54%, believe that burning down a Minneapolis police precinct building following the death of George Floyd was justified, according to a new poll. The survey, which was conducted by Monmouth University, surveyed 807 adults from May 28th to June 1st. It asked respondents if they thought the actions taken by the protesters, including the burning of the precinct building, was fully justified, partially justified, or not justified at all. According to the poll, 17% said the actions were fully justified, and 37% said partially justified, for a total of 54%. In comparison, 38% said that the action was not at all justified. Yeah, so that's not something that I was expecting in the slightest. So 54% of Americans think that the protests and the burning down of the police precinct were either partially justified or completely justified. That's a majority, nearly 1 in every 2 people. So if you take 2 people, chances are one of them is going to say that it's partially justified at least, or completely justified. Which is a little shocking, being that an entire police precinct was burned down, but it sort of makes sense to me. I think that the video of George Floyd's murder was just so shocking to the nation and so shocking to the world, really. There are protests all across the United States and all across the world. Italy has protests, London has protests, France has protests, and they're all protesting because of this one event was like the straw that broke the camel's back in the United States. People are saying that minorities are treated as less than other people, and they're tired of it. So they're willing to look past the fact that a police precinct was burned down because they think that the ability for people to actually protest is a net good. So they're willing to look past the burning of the precinct so people can actually get justice. So this was just an interesting poll to me. I was not expecting that to happen. I would imagine that if the police precinct didn't burn down, that 54% would be a little bit higher. But all in all, I think this was a surprising poll. I did not expect these results. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Were you shocked when you heard these results, or does this seem to be kind of in line with what you were thinking? And subscribe to join the political revolution against mainstream media. Click that bell notification so you know when I upload, because YouTube's not suggesting our videos. CNN, MSNBC, they're bought and paid for. Independent progressive media is the path forward. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.